Taylor Lewan on the show today. He divorced the Cowboys at just the right time. What's up with Mike McCarthy? I want to know all this Dan Quinn stuff in this and how the chips are going to fall. We have your full wild card breakdown with 2 games to go. Oh boy. Also, programming alert, we are rescheduling ljarius Sneed. The should-be all-pro corner has some things to do, some scheduling stuff ahead of the divisional round in Buffalo, ? Home against the Texans? I don't know. I asked for some champagne. Nope, nothing says class better than a screw top champagne bottle. Brought to us by, who even knows, but we're going to drink, want to know why. People want to say wild card weekend was, I had a great wild card. We got 2 games to go. This is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm a little tired. My voice is a little gone. I'm a little emotionally spent, but our boost hit. So cheers to everybody who, $2.25 million in payouts for our boost, for riding with me for Packers. CeeDee Lamb 70 posted, I think it was going to happen. I did not think it was going to happen. I was like, oh my gosh, Dak's not going to get this done for us. But he did. And then we had the yards from Jordan Love as well. So congrats to everybody. The 6-figure, 100,000 plus that rode with us on the Up and Adams boost. And thank you to FanDuel Sportsbook for letting us do it. And it was, you know, it's always like I want to do it, should we do it? And so they always are down to let us give away some stuff. And speaking of that, it's time for another FanDuel Sportsbook credit giveaway. We're rolling here. We have the Eagles and Bucks tonight. We got so much stuff right going into this weekend's games that we want to keep paying it forward and give it back. If you're in the YouTube chat, or right now, if you're on Twitter, go to our YouTube page, get in the chat, subscribe, of course, but write in just who you think is going to be the first touchdown scorer of the game. It's a bet you can do over at FanDuel Sportsbook, but just do it in the YouTube chat. Include your FanDuel username, who scores the first touchdown, and then we will randomly select 10 of you from the entries to win $100 in bonus bets from FanDuel. Alex, our YouTube guy, all over it, so let's do this. And there are more giveaways to come, so subscribe. Okay, lots to talk about here. Wildcard weekend isn't over. That's crazy. I gotta be honest, it feels a little like I'm in Vegas one day too long, okay? You know what I mean? 48-hour rule. I have a migraine. I lost my dignity somewhere between Circus and the 24-hour Taco Bell. I'm getting overdraft alerts from Bank of America. The barista at the Starbucks at the Wynn knows my name, knows my order. It's time to go home, right? My voice is gone. I can't believe we have 2 games to go. It's insane. 2 games with huge implications, especially in the old AFC, and on the NFC side, maybe some coaching implications. Just saying. Now, there are some people who think maybe it didn't live up to the wildness. Lopsided games. Do the best teams make it? Sam, I see you back there. Yes, I loved it. It was great. And it all ended last night with the best. In Detroit, Megatron in the shiny jacket, Rabbit, Benny Cap, the 30-year ticket holder with the coolest jacket I've seen in a minute. I mean, this is a guy, this Benjamin Cap, he's going to get Radio Row interviews if they make it to Vegas, these Lions. And they might with Aiden Hutchinson, and they might with Jared Goff. The atmosphere was insane. I don't know if I've ever heard a building come through louder on TV than Ford Field last night. Arrowhead, who? Sorry. And is there anyone better than Mike Tirico? Quick shout out to the only person, I'm just going to say, the only person I would trust in this moment, because he took the back seat in key moments, and he just let that crowd shine. He let us all hear it and feel like we were part of it. Not everybody does that, and there was no one better to call that game. Thank God it was him. Last night was the NFL at its best. Dan Campbell, being the same aggressive maniac we know and love, like the crazy uncle in your family. He's been this all year long, all 10-year long, and he at the very end lets Jared Goff air it out to Amon-Ra to seal it out of the 2-minute warning. Okay, I mean, if this doesn't work, this is DEFCON. This is disaster. It's very likely you could be giving the ball back to Matthew Stafford, who I trust with the ball in his hand with over a minute left, down by just 8 points. But this has been this Lions team identity since day one under DC. And Jared Goff delivered, as he did all night long. How can it's so fun to universally, collectively root for a guy and be happy for him. And we as an NFL ecosystem are wrapping our hands around Jared Goff and lifting him. We see a little bit of ourselves in him. We see hope. We see, like, revenge. We see all the beautiful things of humanity on display. It's amazing. And if the on-field moments weren't enough, this moment between Coach Campbell and Goff after the game had me crying about the Lions for the first time since Mufasa in the Gorge.
Okay, I'll just say it like this, all right? Hey, you're good enough for Detroit, Jay. Yeah!
love and appreciate you guys more than you fucking know. I promise you that. I love you guys so fucking much. This is just the beginning, boys. This is just the fucking beginning. We got 3 more of these next week at home, at our place, against whoever the fuck wants to come in here. Let's go. Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, win!
I mean, he was on fire. He was on fire all night. Lions step up every time. Everyone seemed to be picking the Rams yesterday. This team never wavered. This was the story. Nothing to do with Stafford. This was the story. And as Jared mentioned, they get to play at home next week again in this insane atmosphere. This is the best thing ever. Bucks, Eagles, whoever wins that one, thanks to the Cowboys loss yesterday. And I'll just say this, if the intensity and the play that we saw last night carries over to next week, and I've got a sneaky suspicion that it will, I think we're going to be seeing this team playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl in a few weeks. Not just incredible what they're doing, incredible they had so much freaking hype going into the season. I'm sitting here like, Aunt Kay, I'm worried about them. Let's not hype them up. Let's not. And they're crushing it and then some. And that, my friends, is hard to do. Your comments, guys, at Up and Adams Show, get your name, who's going to be the first touchdown scorer in these 2 games tonight. Whichever game you feel like, put it there with your FanDuel username. We'll be picking 10 people to get bonus bets. Taylor Lewan is on the show, and I'm so excited because Packers-Cowboys, listen, he divorced those Cowboys at just the right time. He got out of that marriage. He's like, I'm seeing all the red flags and I'm out. And the Packers absolutely took it to the boys. 48 points, tying a franchise playoff record. And that means a little bit more with this franchise than others. And it's all about Aaron Jones, and it's all about Jordan Love. This playoff debut, like who needs playoff experience? This was brilliant. 272, 3 touchdowns, tied for the 3rd highest passer rating in playoff history. Made some unreal throws. And any questions about the moment being too big for him? Shut up. He goes into Jerry world with that big-ass screen, big-ass expectations, bright lights, the whole thing, and he leads the Packers to 6 touchdowns on their first 7 drives. Absolute masterpiece from him and Aaron Jones, who got the, Up and Adams bump. We got it going with him. Cowboys killer. We put it on the table, and he knocked it out the park, racking up 131 yards, 3 more touchdowns yesterday. He's averaging over 150 yards per game, 9 touchdowns in 4 career games against the boys. But you knew this because you watch Up and Adams, and we let you know this is what this man does. I asked about how excited he was, like when he found out it was the Cowboys on the schedule, given that history. Take a listen.
Whoever it was, I was excited, but, it is a little more added excitement going back home to Texas. As it was my childhood team, and then just walking around El Paso, it's a lot of Cowboy fans. So to keep to have a peace of mind for myself.
Aaron, you yelled into a camera in Dallas, "This is my house." You yelled it into the camera. I feel you don't have to say this. I feel like you're about to be the MVP of wildcard weekend. Can we at least get a first down celebration right now to get the vibes going? Show me what you got.
I got you. Let's go. You see, you gotta emphasize. Yeah.
Watching it back, if you look at his face, not even what he says, you can tell he's like, yeah, I'm freaking happy. It's the Cowboys. And yeah, I'm about to be the MVP of that week. He shoots, he scores, absolutely dominant. And the Cowboys side, guys, stunning. I thought the Packers had a shot. But to see Dallas, I did not think Dallas would get so dominated in this building, that CD would be a non-factor in the first half, that they wouldn't be lighting it up. I mean, that first drive, it was impeccably, perfectly done by the Packers. And now, with legends and Hall of Famers out there on the coaching market in a way that we've never seen, Jerry Jones is going to have to make a big decision about Mike McCarthy. I'm not speculating. Jerry did open the door for a change last weekend. I've been talking about it all week. He called that loss the most surprising thing that's happened to him in the history of his involvement with the sport. He said that yesterday. So we'll dig in more with this with Taylor Lewan in a bit. But it's hard to imagine Jerry stands pat the way things ended. All right, we've got lots going on. Eagles, Bucks tonight. So right now we are doing a FanDuel Sportsbook credit giveaway. Guys, get in the comments on the live chat. If you're watching on TV, we appreciate you, but head on over to YouTube, get in the chat for your share of $1,000 in bonus bets over on FanDuel. All you have to do is give me your FanDuel username and your submission, who you think scores first in the game. We're going to randomly select 10 of you to get $100. You don't have to do anything. Lauren is some wizard, and Lauren from FanDuel just pops it into your account, and everybody just gets an email, and it's all lovely and great. So cheers to everybody on that, and let's kick off our Monday with Taylor Lewan after this. All right, we got more giveaways coming up all the time, guys. So subscribe over on the YouTube, and we've got the happiest divorcee in the land on the show. a sauna.
I believe in y'all against the 49ers.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
that might be biased, but I do.
Plus 9.5. A lot of points.
Don't sleep on them.
It's going to be such a high-scoring game.
I know.
Even with those defense.
Shootout, baby. It'll be good. I'm excited.
That Jair play was so stupid.
y'all-
That
on
D
fire.
is looking good. Running game's going. Young guys all over the field.
I
Jordan
like it.
Love played out of his mind.
I want to go to. I might want to go to that game.
You should.
I know I might.
You should. That was going to be a great game. Packers fans travel well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you could hear us in Dallas, man.
Yeah.
Jerry World?
Yeah.
We started taking that game over a little bit.
Hell yeah. That was music to my ears.
You're not taking over.
No, we're not doing it in San Francisco.
Yeah.
No. They're our
But-
kryptonite, too. Aaron Rodgers 0-4 against them
Always
all the time.
fun
They
games.
always beat us.
Always fun games.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen Brock Purdy play in a year.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
know.
I feel like I have not seen Brock Purdy play in a year. It's a little concerning.
Should we put him on a milk carton? And where's
Yeah.
Brock Purdy? Where has he been?
He's been farming.
I don't know, but I mean, if you go by experience and like who gives an F-ness, like I don't know what I don't know. Like they won this weekend, so it'll be interesting.
Got that
CJ
momentum.
Stroud was so crazy.
Same with the
Dude.
Texans.
Good.
They don't know what they don't know in a great way.
fun. I love
Oh, it was awesome.
I know you love that
Texas
too.
Trey. I was so excited. That was the best Sunday ever.
Okay.
Them Browns. Miles.
I didn't want Joe Flacco to go out that way.
I don't either.
I don't feel bad for Flacco at all.
No?
No, absolutely not. I was thinking of like I was talking to Hamilton this morning about like we're all so in love with Jared Goff, and we're all like embracing him as we should.
Yeah.
Who do we, as collectively as a society, feel bad for that got knocked out or like didn't?
Yeah.
No, I got nobody. Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
It's Miles Garrett.
Yes.
That's a bummer.
I would have liked to have seen that, but then again, like I don't know. I don't feel bad for Flacco. House money, made man, MVP, elite, Super Bowl champion,
Yeah.
whatever. Doesn't bug me. There's not like somebody who I'm like heartbroken for.
Yeah.
Nobody on Dallas. Unfortunately, I don't. Maybe CD. I do like CD a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but I hope he get. I mean, Micah. I don't know.
What did he
That
know?
podcast.
Dude.
That podcast is going to be
What
fire.
did CD know? Like just first drive and he's sitting there. They're having talks with the coach. Like
I don't know. Something was fishy.
something was fishy.
Music video.
Too strong to be defeated. My strength is within. Taylor Lewan, the big fella, in for the touchdown. And today I will win.
Joining us now, our Pro Bowl left tackle playing for the in the NFL for 9 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, co-host of the Bussin' with the Boys hit blockbuster podcast, alumni of the national champion Michigan Wolverines, who will lose Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers? Question mark.
No
Taylor
question.
Lewan.
Let's go, Kay. I heard you in your A block talking about how it wasn't that wild of a weekend. I humbly
loved it.
disagree. You see the Browns being favored going into Houston, kicking that ass. The Cowboys, which by the way, you were right. I divorced them. If anybody's in stocks, if anybody is a day
You
trader,
dropped their
you want to
ass.
be like me. You want to be like me. You want to sell high and get out before the crash, baby. And that's what we did. That's what we did.
We're going to get to the Cowboy side of things. I thought we could start celebratorily. I thought we could start with just enjoying the beauty that is Jared Goff. First playoff win in 32 years over the Rams for Detroit. You talked about this city not wanting to play there, it being like the last place you'd want to be in the NFL, just any NFL player. And now they're a hot spot. He killed it against his former team, the team that got rid of him. It was amazing. What do you think? What could be better?
Could you imagine sitting here in 2023, 10 years ago, being like, hey, in 10 years from now, it's going to be cool to play for the Detroit Lions. It officially is cool to be a Lion. Aiden Hutchinson, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff getting it done. And we talk about the storylines all the time. And I told you that going into this week, this is the one you're kind of fired up about because of Matthew Stafford coming back. He gets booed, which is even more exciting. I love the fans being salty, even though they owe him everything. And then Jared Goff taking the W and just in a close fought battle. It was awesome, man. I can't wait. I'm rooting for them. They're my second place team in the NFC.
What's the most electric atmosphere you ever played in?
2019 Baltimore Ravens divisional game. that Lamar Jackson wins the MVP, the electricity in the air when they were announcing players, literally tackles, guards, centers, getting the biggest, loudest screams when they trot their big asses out of that tunnel. And then all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson comes out with a towel around his neck, hyping the squad up. And that place was electric, dude. It was like true goosebumps. Like you're in a situation where you're like, this is what you envision when you're in high school, when you're in college. Like, this is the moment. And what we do, Kay, we beat that ass. That's what we did.
Oh my God, we've said the A word so many times. I bet my 2 little nieces are watching. They probably have a snow day in Chicago, and like this is the day they decide to watch. I think we feel like we've said the A word like 9 times so far. Let's talk about this A word, Aiden. You mentioned him. This performance. I mean, the sacks are one thing, and he had 2 of those. 5 quarterback hits. The pressure was insane. From an O-lineman perspective, what makes him so hard to deal with?
He's a relentless pass rusher. Him and Max Crosby, TJ Watt. I feel like I'm only saying white guys. Myles Garrett, like those types of guys are dudes that are just relentless to the passer. They don't just get sacks on like salty, beautiful, poetic type moves, but they also get them on the effort. When the coverage is great on the back end, them hustling to the ball, when the quarterback breaks contain, just sniping them down. And Aiden is one of those cats, man. I think it's his 3rd year in the NFL, 2nd, 3rd, I don't even know, but he has been doing an incredible job of setting the tone and being that kind of heartbeat of that defense. And it's even better. The kid going to Michigan and all that, like that is the kind of stuff that gets you paid. Like you could have all the talent in the world. We see guys all the time with all of the talent and these dudes that look like Tarzan, play like Jane type of mentality, but these guys that have all the physical attributes, but then also put effort, passion, and heart into it. That's what you're seeing with these other guys.
Eagles or Bucks, O-lines, both great. Both going to have their hands full with this guy. Whoever wins tonight plays those Lions in Detroit.
Yeah, there's no question. And I expect who wins that game, I believe the Lions will beat them and be in the NFC Championship.
Woo! We'd love to see it, man. So after the game, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion with the Rams, of course. He was asked if he was happy for the city of Detroit. Here's what he said.
When Sean McVay was up here, he said that he was happy for Jared Goff and whatnot through their time together. You've been here in Detroit for your first 12 seasons. Just how do you feel about the city of Detroit?
I'm happy for the players. Happy for those guys.
What do you make of that? What?
I think it's awesome, dude, because you should be happy for the players. But literally a week in advance before this game, they're like, hey, no Matthew Stafford's jersey. We're going to boo him when he's in there. How's the guy supposed to feel? Yeah. I mean, I think his wife did an incredible job of laying it out in a very elegant way. And I believe it was one of her Instagram posts about how much they have done for the city of Detroit. And I'm sure that's saltiness right now. He took some big hits in that game, and he was, tattooed all over the place, getting booed. It's definitely a somber moment for him. But I think when it's all said and done, that he's going to be able to go back to Detroit and everyone's going to love him again. But right now, when you're public enemy number 1 coming in and you're the reason why the Lions will advance or not advance, like there's going to be some anger there.
Yeah,
and I messed with it.
You literally talked about booing him for an entire week, this guy who gave his all, his body, his whatever, year in, year out for your team. And then he can't say that he's annoyed with that. It's a very funny thing, but I think the space and the time will sort of heal all, and it's all heat of the moment stuff. But I thought
I agree with that. I think, he's more than okay to be upset about the situation and not be happy that Detroit is advancing instead of his team. How ridiculous is it to break down? It's going to be the same reason why all of the mainstream media is going to talk about the Cowboys instead of the Packers. That's just what it is. It's okay, Matthew Stafford's mad. Let's not, all that stuff's not going to play as much as, getting excited for the Packers or getting excited for the Lions.
Oh, not this. I mean, we're not mainstream media, because I could not be happier for Green Bay.
No, I'm not calling you out.
I know. They're so young. Let's talk about the Packers. They took it to the Cowboys. Aaron Jones, 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards in his 4th consecutive game. That is fresh legs. That is dominance. Does this remind you of Derrick Henry when he ran you and those Titans to the AFC title game back in 2019?
Yeah, when you have a running game like that, an offensive line that looks like they're just firing on all cylinders, you look at the movement on the line of scrimmage, it makes everything else open up. You have to start creeping those safeties down where they're not going to be able to sit 12, 15 yards back. They're going to have to creep down and be a little more run support, opens up the pass game. So that is very similar to how the Titans ran it in 2019 when we had that big run. We were so close. Literally, we had Derrick Henry on the podcast that's coming out tomorrow. And it was literally just a reminisce time about how great those moments were. We wish we just knew we were in the good old days, like that Office quote. But, Aaron Jones, dude, he's acting like him right now. And Jordan Love, with all the ups and downs and the mental fortitude to handle what he's had in this season, it's cool. It's fun to root for. I love that.
There's the mental toughness of Jordan. By the way, Derrick Henry on Bussin' with the Boys, must listen for everyone. Yeah. I cannot wait to hear that. Everybody go download that. We'll put this out on Twitter. Derrick Henry, the king, on Bussin' with the Boys. And I know that you probably got some gems out of him. I want to know about his future. I want to reminisce. I want to go down memory lane with him a little bit. So I'm excited to download and listen to that one. As we talk about Jordan Love here, you say mental fortitude, all of that. Like, the youngsters killed it. Him, CJ Stroud, like playoff debuts, they make it look easy in this NFL. We love Love. You think he looks like he's played in 20 playoff games. He's thrown off his back foot, throwing through 3 defenders. Outside of mental fortitude, what is the most impressive thing about him?
I think the mental fortitude is one thing, but the ability and the accuracy to make those kind of, like, what Patrick Mahomes made cool was the different arm angles, throwing off the back foot, being able to improvise in pressure situations. To me, that's like, okay, you guys got it. You guys got a legit dude. And for Jordan Love, like, it hasn't just been this year to have the mental fortitude, but so many years before that. Gets drafted out of Utah State as a first-round pick. They think, okay, Rodgers has got 1 year. Rodgers was there for 3 more years, where he had to sit on the bench, and literally everyone forgot about Jordan Love. Everyone was like, yeah, there's a guy there, but we got Aaron Rodgers. And then all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers goes over to the Jets, and it's like, oh, we're now resurfacing all these things from 3-4 years ago to figure out about this kid. And so he had to not only go through the ups and downs and the turmoil of this year, but he also had to, stay mentally sharp, stay mentally focused, take those gems when you weren't playing in games and sitting on the sideline of just taking those mental reps, and it's paying off for him. LaFleur is a great coach, and you can see it, man. They're really getting it done. And hey, Houston, you brought up CJ Stroud. I'm so pissed off they're good, but I love CJ Stroud, dude.
Do you feel bad for Myles Garrett?
For what?
For just not me. I mean, because he doesn't get a lot of shots at this. He's one of the best players, a game breaker, and he just gets. Yeah. I don't know. What do you mean?
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I do feel bad for Myles Garrett. He's a guy just like Joe Thomas with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Deserved to have more team success as they were going out through their career. Deserves it. And you know what? Stefanski and those guys, like, they are getting things done. If they can get Deshaun Watson healthy for an entire season, they can be a team that's in the playoffs again, where it's now becoming a normal thing. It's not just like oh my God, like we're looking at with the Detroit Lions. So Myles has got a lot of tread left on the tires in my mind. He's a stud. He's going to continue to be a stud. You look at him, he's just an incredible physique on the guy. So I feel like I feel bad for him in this exact moment, but you're going to be all right.
Yeah, you mentioned Love, and it's so funny because it's like, we had to sit behind while Rodgers stayed for a long time. Like, maybe that's why he's as great up, there's a benefit to that. It's one in the win column for, like, Mahomes sitting with Alex Smith. Like, that is the dream. I think that's the luxury. Like, it plays into the argument that I've been making for years, literally 7 years, that I would prefer a guy to not come in and feel slighted that he's not starting. I don't want Will Levis to think he has to go right away or like whatever. Like, let these guys sit and sort of watch the game and absorb things. And I think it does make a huge difference. I do. I think it was a benefit to him that he sat behind Rodgers.
Yeah, and that says so much about those franchises. Way, I mean, very rarely do you get a first-round pick and you're like, okay, we can sit this guy for a year and let him learn and develop. Like that, it says so much about ownership, upper management, guys that have been doing it for a long time and understand the process of putting together a roster instead of just scrambling when things are great for a little bit and they're like, okay, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden things go wrong and it's like, okay, we have a whole bunch of things to fix. For whatever reason, the Packers have done an amazing job for, I don't know, since the beginning, the dawn of time of the NFL.
Like they just have,
they have elite quarterbacks over and over and over again. And Jordan Love, his story is still untold. It's still being written, but I mean, we're seeing right now that he has the capability and he has the it factor under stress to be able to accomplish those things. And I think that's just awesome, man.
People are calling him the worst draft pick in NFL history. Literally, people were saying he was a waste of a pick.
Yeah, that's crazy when you think about...
Really, let's really think about waste of a pick. I can't believe we're not helping Aaron Rodgers. Waste of a pick, Jordan Love.
That's a crazy comment when you think that in 2020, the Tennessee Titans selected Wilson. What's this guy's name? Isaiah Wilson from Georgia, and the back half of the first round. Guy played 3 snaps, okay? He played on field goal. Huh? He fell asleep in meetings. He got tattoos under his eyes saying Sleepy Panda. The guy, I mean, you talk about one of the worst draft picks of all time. This guy would be asleep in meetings where our coach would wake him up. And you know what pissed me off the most? He was smart. He was a really smart kid that just had zero work ethic, because he'd literally be half asleep. And then Keith Carter, who I have kind of slandered a little bit on Instagram, goes and be like, hey, what did I just say? And he would be like, you pulled, and he would answer the question perfectly. But the kid just couldn't put it together. Shoulders like this, big, broad dude, nimble feet, and just couldn't get it done. So I think that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
I did not think we were going to get into the Isaiah Wilson of it all, but I'm happy that we did. I'm always happy to do that. I want to ask you who the most impressive, quickly, because you talked about a bunch of the most impressive quarterback performance of yesterday.
Of yesterday?
Yeah, or no, of this weekend.
It's got to be C.J. Stroud. I mean, you're underdogs. A week before, first play of the game, rips it in a play action pass and throws it for a touchdown. Then this week has 3 touchdowns at the half, sets a rookie record. He's just doing things that guys haven't done. His ability to take shots with the football and also take care of it and not give it to the defense is so uncommon for his age. He's so poised. He speaks about the team. He doesn't speak about himself. He is a guy that you look at and everybody was like, damn, I wish we could have drafted that guy. That's what CJ Stroud is. He's a generational talent, and we're seeing it. He's clearly the rookie MVP, clearly, and it's in a good class too. But I think not yesterday, 2 days ago, seeing all that was one of the most impressive things.
OPOY, CJ Stroud. You didn't consider Dak Prescott for that?
For MVP?
And best performance of the weekend?
No.
I
say, tell you what, Jerry Jones.
What happened?
You know what looked good?
What happened? What was going on out there? And then, like, drama, like, are we, like, real housewifing it between, CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott? Like, what, you can't throw pick sixes in games, that's for sure, but what did you make of Dak?
Yeah, it's the same reason why I felt uncomfortable with the Cleveland Browns going into the playoffs, because they throw picks. And Dak, who's, had a career that people were talking, or a season that people were talking about having an MVP season, just didn't answer the call yesterday. The whole team didn't answer the call. I mean, it was the Packers all of the way. And I think, I hate drawing lines in the sand, but the Cowboys have plenty of talent. Jerry Jones can sit there in his billion-dollar mansion and understand that he has talent. And I don't think talent's the issue. It's the mindset, it's the culture, and it's the coaching.
He didn't look good. Like his demeanor, like there's just something off in these big games, and it's these playoff games. And like, you can't, if you're Jerry Jones and you're sitting at your rich mahogany desk with like, I don't even like a cigar, a pipe, whatever it is that you do in there, and you're 2-5, your quarterback is 2-5 in his playoff career, and now you're sitting there like, Dak made it hard for Jerry to kick up his feet and say, yeah, let's extend him. And that's it. Now they have it. They can move on from him. They can extend. And what would you do if you were smoking a pipe at a rich mahogany desk like Jerry?
The first thing I would do if I was Jerry Jones is I would hire Mike Vrabel. The second thing I would do is be like, Mike, go find yourself a guy like Jim Schwartz from the Cleveland Browns and hire him as your DC. The next thing I would do is I would look at all the tape, evaluate everything, and take an OC like Arthur Smith, and I'd put him as my OC, and I'd say, Art, what do you think about Dak Prescott? He can move in the pocket. He does great on the run. He throws for 1 billion yards every single year. What needs to change here? And then evaluate it, because you've got time. You have till, that March 14th date when the new league year starts. And so I would figure out where you're definitely missing, and that's in coaching. And then I would definitely evaluate and then sit there and be like, do we move on or do we not? I didn't answer your question, but I answered how the process of answering your question.
What else is new? Okay, you mentioned Vrabel. Let's not bury the lead here. Make the case for Mike Vrabel to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, which means you're making the case for why you should part with Mike McCarthy, and you have to make the case for why it should be Vrabel over Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick.
So the reason why I would take I believe Harbaugh is probably going to go to the Chargers. So I'm taking him off the table. I think the personality of Jim and that big of a spotlight, I don't know if he would thrive in that type of situation. He's a guy that, like, I just think he'd do better at the Chargers. I would take Vrabel over Belichick because Belichick is much older, and Vrabel is a guy that can tell players, listen, I played 14 years in the league. You know the Titans made a mistake firing Mike Vrabel when the guy you fired is the #1 coach to go hire right now. You're like, okay, we fired Mike Vrabel. Let's go find a guy like Mike Vrabel and be our head coach. Mike is a guy, when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, my biggest issue with the Cowboys is that they just, when it comes to situational football, when it comes to stressful situational football, they don't always answer the call. Very few times you see them coming back with the other opposing team having a lead and then being able to fight through the fringe to get there. When it comes to 2-minute, 4-minute, handling the process of time of possession and not just shooting for the win and trying to score 1 billion points every game, but understanding the strategic chess game that takes place in 60 minutes of football,
Right.
That's why Mike Vrabel is your guy. Because every single week on Friday, guys are going to get berated and scoffed at while he puts up tape of the Thursday night game and the week before showing the guys where the mistakes were made and how we don't do that because great teams use the rules to their advantage. And I think Mike Vrabel in Dallas would thrive.
His temperament, a bit of a hothead. Does that work in Dallas? Does that work with Jerry Jones?
Yeah, because I think Vrabes he's a hothead. He's got a temperament, but he's got a football attitude. And when did Jerry get this team? Like 1776, when America was established, he's on the Cowboys. I have no idea, but like, you know, Jerry is an old school cat, and Vrabel is old school about the way he goes about football. I don't think there'd be an issue there.
Jim Harbaugh could come. He could get rid of Dak Prescott, draft J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, he could absolutely do that. I think if you get Jim or Vrabel, I mean, you're cooking now. Now you know you don't have an issue with the coaches. You have 2 coaches that have proven they can do it. I think Harbaugh does leave. I think the Chargers are a little bit more, besides like the amount of media coverage they get, I think the Chargers kind of have all the tools that Jim needs to work with to start a quick garden and grow his plants the way he wants. He's got names on the defensive side of the ball. He'll probably take Jesse Minter from Ann Arbor, bring on with him, install that defense that the Baltimore Ravens run. And then Jim will, you know, have that beautiful relationship with Justin Herbert, like you've seen with J.J. McCarthy and all of his other quarterbacks at Michigan, San Francisco, and Stanford and all that. So I think that's just, for me, that's like a more enticing job than the Cowboys, which is crazy to say based on how much money's in Dallas.
I mean, you're basically saying that the Chargers are ready to go and the Cowboys aren't, that they're not ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys have a lot of talent too. It just seems to me like they just can't figure it out, and there's this cloud looming over their head the same way that was for the Lions. The Lions haven't been in the playoffs since 1992, haven't won a playoff game since 1992, and now all of a sudden they've got it off their back. Like, you need someone to change the mindset and the view of a culture of an entire franchise, and that's why I think Vrabel is such a good fit for the Cowboys. Jim would equally be just as good of a fit, but you look at, you know, who would you pick, Dak Prescott or Herbert? I'm taking Herbert right now, and you know Jim Harbaugh loves his quarterbacks.
I would definitely do that. I think that, you know, it's hard to extend Dak right now. It's hard to see Dak as the quarterback because you look at Jerry, and Jerry isn't. How many more shots is Jerry going to get at this thing? You know, you want to get it right. It might have to be a complete. You know, part of me is like, I really think, and I hear that he really likes Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn had a terrible game yesterday. If you get rid of McCarthy, you got to get rid of Dan Quinn, and you're gonna give up Dan Quinn to go probably take that Seattle head coaching job. There's a lot of ins and outs here for Jerry. Jerry's got a lot to consider. I'll get into it a little bit later on in the show. And I think this game tonight also has a weird, like, I don't know about Sirianni. Are we on shaky ground? We don't know. We have to see. Like, hopefully they get a win tonight and they figure it out. But there could be more to come here. Not an easy day for Jerry to write Dak a contract extension, or to make, you know, not an easy day for Dolphins fans, and an easy night for Dolphins fans, or for the brass down there in Miami to say Tua's our guy. Tua's our guy, because up against Mahomes, Tua's not the guy. He was not the guy in the cold. He was not the guy. Who do you have more faith in, Dak or Tua?
Tua.
Why?
I think Tua throws I mean, they both throw great deep balls. I just think that this is the first year that Tua was really in the league and stayed healthy for a full year, and he lit it up. I think he's younger. He's got, you know, more time to get better. I think McDaniel does a great job, but we also see the numbers when it's under 40 degrees or 44 degrees. Tua's over, or whatever the situation is. So, you know, the Chiefs are still going to achieve. That's the reason why you and I talked last week, and we sat there and said, yeah, the Chiefs don't look as good, but also, like, they're still the Chiefs, and when the playoffs come, they could go and do things. And that's exactly what they did in Kansas City against the Dolphins. So I think right now, younger, just has experienced that success in this year. The confidence is built.
And the ceiling. I think the ceiling we haven't seen with Tua.
Yeah, but the thing I think is, like, Dak had great numbers this year.
Okay.
I don't know exactly their comparison of numbers, but Dak had great numbers. But also there's a level of confidence because of the question marks about Dak and how he's not able to get that, get over the hump of the playoffs, Dak, that I feel like there's a wavering confidence there. With Tua, last year gets knocked out, literally has to learn how to fall in the offseason, then comes in this year and has an overwhelmingly positive year that everybody can get behind. I think that's a guy you say, okay, fix a couple of things, figure out how to play in the cold type mentality, and you have now an opportunity to be like that dude come next season.
It's well said. I think it's almost the simple thought is we know what Dak is. We know what he is, whereas maybe there's still something to unlock with Tua, with that team that's young and getting it together. They lose to the Chiefs in a big way. Chiefs get to play at home. There's a chance they get to play at home again. 26-7. That a lot made about the weather. Tough. Like everybody has to play in tough stuff. Like it was the top 5 coldest game. I got to get your expertise on a certain thing. And it's how does one drink? How does one approach a frozen beer? Because the beer was freezing, the water was freezing. As a professional in this arena, how do you handle this? Do you do like a frozen lemonade cup and grab a spoon? Like, what do you do?
Oh, a little beer slush. I do. I don't hate that idea. Okay. What I would do in this situation is, how cold are you really? You got the warm hands on in the pockets. If that is the case, I'm taking that beer and I'm stuffing it around 3 or 4 of those warm hands, letting it sit there for 5 to 10, let the thing get lukewarm and slam it down, no problem. Might as well grab 2 and put them in 5 minutes, and then take the first one out, and then this other one's cooling down or warming up just right, and then you're into it.
You have this figured out. Taylor's like rubbing them down with hot hands to try to
like a genie on a bottle, baby.
Happen.
Like a genie on a bottle.
Okay, sounds good. Most impressive thing about the Chiefs win?
The doubt, answering the doubt. Like we all sat here and we thought, the Chiefs just don't seem like that team this year. Their defense was playing good. They're not so good. They're not putting up points the way they used to put up points. Travis Kelce was 17 yards away from another 1,000-yard season, sat out and lost out on $750,000. A lot of question marks on a team that usually goes to the Super Bowl. And so now it's like playoff, the mentality, the attitude. They've been here before. They're the most experienced of all these other teams right now. And I think that that's it. That's massive for them, that experience, and them knowing it's crunch time. It's obviously win or go home. That's the biggest thing for me.
I think that like a McDuffie, ljarius, Sneed, like they're the best corner duo in the NFL. Like they're crushing it, their defense. And Patrick Mahomes is letting his defense do it. He's managing the game exactly how he wanted to. Hitting Rice when he needs to hit Rice when it's not working out for Travis Kelce and that. That's been amazing. Their tackling concerns me a little bit. It's like the one question I have about them, but because Jawan Taylor and the penalties, he's the most penalized player. In literally over 20 years, if you look at it. We're going to talk to ljarius Sneed this week, and hopefully, if they go, they're definitely in my head going to the AFC Championship game. The Texans or them. I think Arrowhead blows it away, unfortunately. So we'll see that. Did you see? I love you a lot, but you give Arthur Smith a lot of Mustache love, okay? And so I think we saw, not that I have them power ranked, but maybe the most impressive, powerful performance we've had out of a Mustache. And not for the consistency, the durability here. What would you like to say to the Walrus?
I'd just like to say bravo, sir. Bravo. To have a lip ferret like that and know you're going into these cold temperatures and it's going to freeze, that is just cool. I got in a Twitter argument with RG3 because he was saying we shouldn't let the players play and all this BS. It's dude, this is when football is at its coolest, when it's I'm freezing, you're freezing, but we're going no sleeves and we're getting after it. And that's essentially Andy Reid going no sleeves. He probably put a little water down on that ferret and let that thing drip dry until he walked out in the water. It looks incredible. It looks amazing, Kay.
I'm glad you finally gave it its love because, I don't know if it's ageism. I don't know what it is, but I feel like you haven't talked about Andy Reid's mustache all season.
Yeah, I think that's just the Jordan, you just get so used to great mustaches, you move on to see what's up and coming. And Arthur Smith had something beautiful. But you got to tip the cap to the go-to mustaches in the NFL right now, and that's Andy Reid.
Who wins? Eagles, Bucks? Give me the one reason.
I'm going to go Bucks. I don't know, because I don't know if you heard about Donnie, the security guard. He's back, and they're 10-1. They're 10-1 when he's on the sidelines. But I'm going to go Bucks, baby. I'm going to go Bucks, and then the Bucks are going to lose the next week. I think the Eagles, they just dropping dropping so many games they did in the end of the season.
Yeah.
If the confidence is not there, is AJ Brown playing? Is he not? Then Hurts dislocates his finger. It's just everything is going against the Eagles right now, and I feel like the Bucs are going to take advantage of that.
Wow. Okay. Other games: Steelers, Buffalo. What's the reason? Who's winning and why?
Buffalo mops the floor with the Steelers. It's not even close, and I think it's going to be an awesome game for the running game, especially Josh Allen.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that you would be talking about getting into a Twitter fight with RG3.
RG3, man, he's got that new school mindset, dude. Sometimes you just got to go out there and brave the elements.
Taylor, we appreciate you. We'll see if they mop the floor with him. You had a lot of, I got a text from Hamilton saying he was disturbingly prepared for that beer answer.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that just came off the top of the dome.
Oh, I know.
I will say this, for the Bills and the Steelers,
okay,
mopping the floor is like 14-0. Like the kind of weather we got in there, that's a mop the floor in this game. I don't think the Steelers are going to get it going. That's mopping the floor.
I appreciate the asterisks. We appreciate you. Derrick Henry on Bussin' with the Boys, the latest pot. It'll be out tomorrow. We appreciate you. We'll see you down at the stretch. And we'll see where Vrabel goes and where Jim Harbaugh goes. And we are going to break, and then we will be back. I want to do a little, I'm going to channel Jerry Jones. Oh, God. I am the walrus. I didn't mean walrus like Andy Reid's a walrus. I meant the walrus mustache.
Yeah.
I hope that's clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Also, for Jordan, when I said like Tua, really? Like I didn't mean to make it sound like I don't believe in Tua. So if we can cut around that, that would be great. Because I think if you, Jordan, just clip that out, I'm like, Tua over Dak? That's not at all what I'm saying. I think you got to light a match to the whole, it's so sad. Just the Cowboys whole thing is. You know what the worst part about being a Cowboys fan? I'm talking to a woman in Kelly Green Eagles thing over there. But it's that if you're a fan, no one feels bad for you, and that's a tough spot.
It's like America's team. They get all the love. Like they were great.
Yeah.
I just think that no one feels bad for them anymore because they had it great and they just have this ego and. When they lose, it's like delicious.
Like no one objectively is like, oh man, poor Cowboys. Like that's got to be a rough.
I feel like the Pats were the same way.
Part of. Yeah, but that's not true. But the Pats won 6 rings recently. Mm-hmm. Like we're not talking about 30-something years ago. We're talking like.
Well, that's the thing.
It's like when the Bulls lose, nobody's like, oh, F the Bulls.
Yeah.
But like, so, you know.
If you have that great legacy, you'd think they'd be able to like turn it around by now via coaching or like players or something, and they just cannot figure it out.
No, but there's just no compassion for this fan base. It is like an unbelievable pylon of that I've never seen before. Worse than the Patriots. It's worse than the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Patriots are like on top, so they're like, who cares? Like they don't, and I think that they saw the writing on the wall, and they're like prepared for the rebuild. I think the Patriots fans are like. Yeah. It's like a different world, but like the Dallas thing is, there's just.
It's been so long since they've been in the playoffs, or won in the playoffs.
I mean, the Yankees get that, the Lakers get that.
Because they're all the bandwagon franchises, you know? They're all the
bandwagon franchises.
They really are. And I love it.
America's team?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's do it. Coaching talk. Kat, any luck?
Not yet.
Okay.
Doc Wally World wants to know where you got your sweater.
Oh. I have no idea. Kohl's?
Okay, Kirk Cousins.
Probably use Kohl's cash on this one.
Hamilton, are you around to come on the air, or are you completely shot? Okay. Cowboys lose yesterday. Nobody feels bad about it. No empathy for this fan base. And now the rumors are swirling. The rumors that Jerry Jones sort of put on himself because he left the door open going into this game about Mike McCarthy's coaching staff and really just which way is his compass pointing in on his Super Bowl and where on that, like, what do you call that, like, thing that the time thinks? Days of Our Lives thing?
No, sand through the hourglass.
An hourglass.
These are days of our
The time of his on his Super Bowl hourglass is trickling through that little thing. Days of Our Lives. Shout out Stefano. I want to get into the like if you're Jerry Jones this morning, what are you pondering? And I'm not one to fire. I'm not going to fire Mike McCarthy before he is fired, or if he's going to be fired. But it is fair game to talk about because he did open the door before the playoffs even started. So if I'm him, I'm thinking, you know, about that hourglass. I'm thinking, how many shots do I have left? What can I improve? How do I have to rehaul everything? Like, do I have to set a torch to this thing? Refumigating the entire organization. And of course, there's a lot of natural pointing to, myself included, to Bill Belichick as an option. Have I heard that there's connective tissue here? I have. It's definitely something to consider. But then a lot of people point to it, and then they point away from it because they say the personalities will clash. It won't work. Bill wants full reign. He won't get it. I would just say to that, not so fast, because it's sort of lazy to think that. And if you really look at track record, I would be asymmetrical in my thinking about this. I would say Jerry Jones is inspired by strong people, strong presence. Jimmy Johnson, strong personality. Bill Parcells, he brought Bill Parcells in there. So let's not pretend that Bill Belichick wanting control or he's too big of a hard ass, is necessarily a deal breaker for Jerry. Maybe Jerry needs that. Maybe he's attracted, compelled by that. So if I'm trying to put myself in his head, and I don't operate in the world of billionaires and their decision making, so it's not that easy, but you know, is there a question from Jerry's perspective along the lines of, do I want to take someone who was discarded by one of my biggest compatriots, pun intended, and competitive rivals? He and Mr. Kraft, they're friends. They also get after each other. They're at the top. They're like 1 and 1A. I don't know who's 1 and 1A, but as far as power, as far as influence in the league, if you're Jerry, like, is that a thought that you even have? Like, I don't know how billionaires operate. Do you say, like, I want to marry someone's ex-wife after they had a beautiful marriage? Or do I say, I'll take him and I'll win with him? Do I not care? What's the ego of that part of it in making it work for the next couple of years for this organization? The Dan Quinn part of it, I think it matters. I think if he gets rid of McCarthy, let's say he likes Dan Quinn a lot, which I think he does. Can he make him his head coach after yesterday's performance? It was so uninspired. It was so discouraging. Like, any shakeup you make there, you got to get rid of Dan Quinn. And so you're basically saying, you know, you have to make this decision knowing Dan Quinn's going to go be the head coach somewhere. He's getting that love. And if I don't make him a head coach here, he's not likely to stay and work under another regime. So I have to be okay with losing Dan Quinn, who has been important and a game changer and a tone setter for this team. Also just consistency and familiarity, which we saw really plays into what the Patriots did. And I would also say this, from Jerry's perspective, to consider as well. I think if you look at track record, he does appreciate a strong presence. I think that Bill Belichick would work better with him than other places in the National Football League. But it's also important to note, all 3 of his Super Bowl rings as an owner, Jerry Jones, were delivered to him by head coaches that came from where? The college ranks. Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer. Now, he hasn't gone back to that well since he got rid of Switzer, and that was like 25 years ago. But you'd have to think, does that play into the appeal of this dude? Does it play into the, like, if you're an owner, do you want that familiarity? Do you change your stripes? Is that a pattern? Does that matter to you? And that would certainly make Jim Harbaugh sort of a sexy option here. If you want intensity, if you want, as what Taylor Lewan was saying, somebody to completely come back and revamp, switch things, put things on their butt, develop a sense of urgency, a bit of a wild card for sure, but like a willingness to do whatever it takes, it's hard to find a better option. And, you know, I guess that depends on what Jim wants. Is you want to plug and play, come in there and take on Justin Herbert, or does he want to have to come and say, yeah, maybe we have to draft J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, we have to get rid of Dak and make a play here. So it's really fascinating. And as is tonight, like just with all the sort of tumult, the idea of losing a team or whatever's going on with the Eagles, like the Eagles got to win this game because that's something that's developing, and there's some ties there too. And you know, is Lurie the kind of owner who's like, if I can improve Should I improve? Just something else to watch for. Lots at stake, lots on the line for these games tonight. So that's just a couple of my musings. Where do you think all these coaches are going? No one will get rid of Dak for J.J. McCarthy. I'm not saying that, Jordan. I'm saying you know that you have a problem in Dallas unless you are a coach of such great heights like Bill. Does Bill think he can go win-win with Dak? Absolutely. Bill for sure has the healthy ego to say, I can go fix this, get the best out of him, and win you a Super Bowl. Are you listening to that if you're Jerry Jones this morning? It's probably a lot easier to have that conversation after yesterday's loss. Okay, still to come. Diving a little bit further into the games from Saturday, let's get to Mahomes. Let's get to the wonder that is C.J. Stroud when we get back. And our YouTube giveaway, guys, we will do as well. Should we do that in the show? I would just see what our timing is. So I would probably do it in the show. I got nothing. We didn't have ljarius Sneed, so it's nothing. Yep. And then we can get into the Mahomes of it all. Or if we think is this 3 minutes worth? And that's what I'm asking you. I know, but I'm asking what is this timed out to, this D block? That's what I'm asking you. The script is? I'm asking you what the content of the D times out to. Oh, okay. So let's do YouTube now then. I misunderstood. I thought we were light. Okay, guys, we have our YouTube giveaway winners. These are 10 random people. Thank you for giving us. You followed the rules. You subscribed, you got in the chat, you told us your username, and then you also told us who you think is going to score first in these games. Mark Demis, C-Tuck1, Sam Witt, Pebbles51286, Nick is in town, CL Watt 3, Khalid 27, J Moneymaker 08, Rev Reggie White, and KJZ 406. You're each getting $100 in bonus bets. It's that easy, guys. Subscribe, come from Twitter, come from TV, and get it done. Cool. How much time do we have? We have a minute. We got a lot of birthdays on the show. Guys, it's Marissa's birthday. Woo! How are you feeling about tonight?
Nervous. It's going to be awful or amazing. And I don't know which Eagles team is going to show up. And if they show up with swag, at least we'll be respected.
I feel like they're going to come and be great.
They better, or I'll freak out.
But if they don't, what does it say? That's the scary thing.
It says a lot.
Like if they don't come and like kill it run through a wall for like Dan Campbell vibes, like what does that mean?
It speaks a lot to the culture of the team right now.
What?
You guys are both there. There was not this energy before the season, right?
Marissa cannot lose to Baker Mayfield on her birthday.
No, that's not allowed.
I don't know if that's. I don't know.
I just need to
Rashad White might just like.
I know. I need to see which team shows up tonight. Mm-hmm. There's a possibility.
Yeah.
Jekyll or Hyde, and I need the swag.
It's like it's like the Chiefs. Just
exactly
turn it off and like we're in a new season now, new world.
AJ Brown's worrying me a little bit.
Yeah. I gave you my thoughts on yesterday's game. I thought we could dive into what happened on Saturday for a second here. Let's go with the Chiefs, okay? Crazy that sounds, this team's best path to repeat was Mahomes focusing more on managing the game. He proved that on Saturday night. He channeled his inner Alex Smith, okay, in the best way possible. Very different Patrick on Saturday night than the one we've seen all year. He took what was there. He threw it away when there was nothing there. He took off and ran when he had to. He didn't put the ball in harm's way at all, not once, in the comfort, not once. He didn't force anything. And while we didn't see any of, we didn't see much vintage Mahomes out there in those type of plays, this was as impressive a game that I've seen of him all year because I think it takes a little something, a little discipline, a little like filter to have him not do that. And it's got to be hard to rein yourself in when you have the talents and ability that he does. So give him a lot of credit. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He could have just went and put it on his shoulders. He didn't. He said, and he's been giving credit to this defense all year long in press conferences, which is amazing to see. He's stepping back and realizing, if he wants to make it a run of a third, he's going to have to switch it up and keep this going. This is Mahomes' 17th game of the season, the 4th time he finished a game without a turnover, okay? The Chiefs are 4-0 in those games. That matters. They've won each by an average of 18.5 points per game. They're just 6-6 when he turns it over at least once. So now they're going to need to finish a little better in the red zone next week, whether they have the Bills in Buffalo, woof, or the Texans at home who can put up points. Overall, I did like what I saw out of Mahomes. We love what we saw out of Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco and this offense as a whole. Could Clyde Edwards-Helaire have scored a touchdown for me? Sure, but he didn't. They're going to be a tough out. They might just waltz on over to the AFC Championship game. And got to give the Texans, who might face those Chiefs. Texans, we see you, we love you. Caserio and company, D'Amico, win over the Browns. That defense, what a test. What a statement from C.J. Stroud. Continuing to look like the most poised, polished rookie quarterback I've ever seen. Toughest defense. If you look at this, his 274 yards and 3 scores netted him the best passer rating a rookie's ever posted in a playoff game. A shade under perfection from him. When you're on a list with guys from 1937, it's pretty special. And it isn't just that he's putting up these kind of performances in big moments, it's how he's doing it. He's sticking in the pocket, he's going through reads, showing patience, showing composure. He's a dream. He's a veteran in a rookie's body. That's what he is. I can't remember a rookie who looked unflappable in a playoff game like this. You gotta give Slowick a ton of credit here. The OC, I mean, there's no sheltering him. There's no getting his feet wet. He came out there and Bobby Slowick was like, let it rip. We're a fan of that here on the show. So sure, it'll be a different animal in Arrowhead or shoot, Baltimore maybe next week, yikes. Impossible not to be impressed though, and as great as Stroud was, what's really making me believe that this team could have a shot next weekend is the way the defense looked, guys. 4 sacks, 2 pick sixes. They completely said, Cleveland run game, who, where, what? They took a little wand and said, disappear, and it couldn't get going, and they could do nothing effectively. So those are my quick thoughts on those games. We'll definitely dig in more. I want to get into Tua more. I want to get into the Lions more, and we'll do that. But we've got, Packers at San Francisco. Debo on the program tomorrow to break that down. Trying to rebook LeJarius Sneed, and hopefully we'll have some more guests and stuff. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for playing the Boost. Have a good day. Enjoy tonight. Well, gosh, we have to recap those games tomorrow.